Chicago Cubs pick up another win and also win the Crosstown Classic and the Cup, staying on the north side once again. And of course, guys, we are just days away. I have a big announcement about what's going to happen for the trade deadline and a huge show that we're going to do put together for it. With that being said, it's a lot of rumors going on about the Chicago Cubs and trade. So we got to talk about those too. That's what's coming up next on Central. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. If you are excited that the Chicago Cubs once again own the best record in the NL, go ahead and give this video a like. Also, if you're excited that the Chicago Cubs made sure the little brothers stayed the little brothers and won this series against the White Sox, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And of course, always knock that bell for notifications so that you never miss an opportunity to watch the quality content you're going to get right here on Chicago Cubs Central. Remember, this is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in on this lovely day. And yeah, the Chicago Cubs did take care of business on Sunday afternoon, on a hot, sunny Sunday afternoon, going up against the Chicago White Sox. They do end up beating the Chicago White Sox 5-4. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys off jump. I didn't expect the Chicago Cubs to win this game. After what happened in Showdown Imanago on Friday night, and obviously Cade was Cade yesterday, and it was amazing. But after what happened in Showdown Imanago on Friday night, and it what happened in Ben Brown's last start, I remember finishing up the video for yesterday after yesterday's game, and I did not announce because I had not read yet who the starter was going to be for the Chicago Cubs for today's game. And of course, soon as I clicked upload and everything like that, news drops that it is going to be Ben Brown starting for the Chicago Cubs on Sunday afternoon. And man, I immediately texted my homie, my big brother Kev, and told him, like, yo, man, what's your Venmo, bro? Go ahead and send it to me, dog, because it's about to get ugly tomorrow. Cubs probably going to end up dropping this game to the White Sox. It's hot, it's humid, ball's going to be flying out, you know, and the White Sox apparently have three, potential home run derby contestants, apparently, after what they did to Shota on Friday. But coincidentally enough, as fate would have it, your boy, once again, was wrong. And it was one of those good wrongs to be, because the Chicago Cubs did take care of business, mainly Ben Brown. 15 outs. Craig Counsell said in his presser after the game that he only really expected Ben to get 12. He actually went in and got him 15 outs. So another strong outing from Ben Brown. Once again, he did his thing, man. It was great. 5 of 7 on the season now. This was hopefully a showcase for teams out there, a young team that is going to end up trading a good pitcher to the Chicago Cubs. This was hopefully Ben Brown's litmus test, Ben Brown's showcase, his opportunity to show you that, yes, he does have some things in the tank that he could potentially bring to your team. He pitched 5 innings, allowed 3 hits, only 1 earned run, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts on 57 pitches, 39 of those being Ks. He dropped his ERA to 6.22 after this game. So yeah, Ben Brown was clutch for the Chicago Cubs today, which is crazy to say that because you really don't expect to hear that from Ben Brown, especially these days. We have went up and down. I feel like we've been on a roller coaster with Ben Brown all season because there's been times he's looked dominant and unstoppable. I go back to a month and a half ago, right before my baby shower, when he pitched against the Detroit Tigers and literally looked like a Cy Young candidate. He went head to head with Tariq Skubal and literally looked amazing the whole entire time. And I thought to myself, like, this dude might really actually have something. We might really have something with Ben. And of course, it ended up being where Ben just was not that. But at the same time, Ben was able to do what he had to do. You look at this, and the Chicago Cubs did go ahead and cover pretty much all the bases and everything that they needed. You got some really funny trick plays. If you guys watched the short that was uploaded to the channel, there was a moment where Nico Horner showed his IQ accuracy, that he's from Stanford, graduated from Stanford College, and he literally allows the ball to drop because it's already an infield fly rule. And of course, Sosa decides to run from second to third. Nico picks up the ball, lets it drop, picks up the ball. The guy running to first is already out, and he picks up the ball, throws it over to third base, and gets the tag out from Matt Shaw at third. And yeah, that's a double play to end the inning and save any runs. Key plays like that are plays that I love. That's just an IQ moment. Even got JD fired up on the on the television that I was watching on, because it was one of those plays where it's like, you don't see a lot of that anymore. So the fact that he understood the what was going on, he understood it was the infield fly rule, he understood that the guy at first was already out. He was able to go ahead and get the double play. That is an unconventional double play. Moments like that are moments that you just see from the Chicago Cubs. And it also shows you the difference between Cubs managers, the White Sox managers, the Cubs players, and the young White Sox White Sox players. And then, of course, we have to talk about Ian Happ. Why do you have to talk about Ian Happ? Because Ian Happ also had the craziest play. Guys get caught up in what should have easily been a double play, and been 2 outs to end the game, ends up turning into Colson Montgomery blocking the base path to third base. Ian Happ bulldozing past him, and then the ump at third literally stopping the play, signaling for Ian Happ to take the base at home, because Colson Montgomery had blocked third base. So Ian Happ had no base path to get back to third base. You can either stand on the foul side of the line, on the in the play side, an infield side of the line, but you cannot block the base path. That is against the rules. So Ian Happ, knowing that, went ahead, bulldozed past him, not Colson on his ass, and then literally got the call from the ump to come on ahead and go to third and go home from third. And that run actually was the run that decided this game. The Cubs win this game 5-4, and literally that run was what decided the game, because Brazier gave up a 3-run homer. Ryan Brazier came into the game and gave up a 3-run homer in the game. He also allowed 2 hits. And so, like I said, it was one of those things where it just looked bad. Benintendi homered off of him. Tauchman scored and Meredith scored off of that. And so it was 5-4, but the Chicago Cubs after that bring in Daniel Palencia, and Daniel Palencia locks it down. He pitches a third of the 8th and then comes back into the 9th and pitches the 9th, and to get his 14th save of the season. So that's what the Chicago Cubs did. And now we look forward to what's ahead. What's ahead? Well, you got the matchup of the century, man. You got the Chicago Cubs versus the Milwaukee Brewers going 3 times at American Family Field. That's right, 3 times at American Family Field. You got the Milwaukee Brewers sending the young all-star Mizorowski to the bump, and we are sending Matthew Boyd up there. That's right. We're sending Matthew Boyd up there. This young, tall Mizorowski. This guy's got to be like 6'8", 6'9". Dude is huge. I don't even know how they're going to fit him in the camera, but he will pitch. He will be on the mound. He has a 4-1 record, a 2.45 ERA, a 0.92 WHIP, and he has pitched 29 innings. However, we are sending what I believe it will be our Cy Young candidate this year up to the bump also. That's right. We're sending Matthew Boyd up there. He is 11-3 with a 2.20 ERA, a 1.01 WHIP, and he has pitched 118.2 innings so far this season. And then we will move from there. We have Tuesday's game. Tuesday will be Colin Ray pitching for the Chicago Cubs, going up against I believe his name is Quinn Priester, who is 9-2. Colin Ray is 8-4. Ray has a 4.06 ERA with a 1.27 WHIP and 102 innings pitched. And of course, Priester is 9-2, 3.28 ERA with 1.20 WHIP and 101 innings pitched. So these two are like right around each other. I just think a couple things might have shook Priester's way a little bit with who he was pitching up against. And then we end the month of July with Shota Imanaga versus Freddie Peralta, a 110 start time on Wednesday. Shota Imanaga versus Freddie Peralta. Shota is 7-4, 3.12 ERA with a 1.04 WHIP, and 78 innings pitched. And then Freddie Peralta, a 12-4 record, a 2.81 ERA with a 1.09 WHIP in 121 2/3 of an innings pitched. Both teams have the exact same record right now coming into this series, 62-43. This will be must-see primetime television. And yeah, like I said, you don't want to miss it. Then the Chicago Cubs have an off day during the trade deadline, which I do want to announce Thursday for the trade deadline on July 31st. We will do a live show. I'm going to try to garner up some guests, and we will do a live trade watch show. It probably will be after the trade deadline, just reacting to the moves that the Cubs made. We will go live after reacting to the trades that could have been made or the trades that were made, and we will then recalibrate our roster. And then to me, really, that's when the second half of the season begins after that trade deadline, which we will start with the Orioles on Friday. They will visit Wrigley Field, and then we have Cincinnati after that, and then we go down to St. Louis to play them in St. Louis one last time. Then we'll look at the Blue Jays, and then we'll go over to the Pirates, and then we finish up with the Brewers. We'll finish our series up with the Brewers in August, and there'll be no more Brewers. Then we got the Angels for 3, and then the Giants for 3, and then after that we see the Colorado Rockies for 3. They come to Wrigley, and then after that, yeah, man. Then after that, we got 29 games left in the month of September. Man, this year is flying by for the Chicago Cubs. So excited for all of that. Excited for what the Cubs are going to do and are looking to do. And yeah, man, we need to address something, though. We need to address something, guys. And that is, I don't know if it's, I don't want to call it the fall off of Kyle Tucker, but I want to call it the ravine. He didn't fall off a cliff, but he might have hit a ravine. But Kyle Tucker is struggling, guys, and you can see it all over his body language. You can see it all over him. I do expect Kyle Tucker to get back on track, and like I said, I assume that it will take some time to do that. He still has a .274 ERA. He did drive in 1 run in this game. But this is why you also want to add somebody like Eugenio Suarez. I know that a lot of people have talked about the fact that with Matt Shaw swinging the bat like he is, and the fact that there is an obvious need not only for bullpen pitching but also for starting pitching for the Chicago Cubs, that you don't want to have Kyle Tucker out here. You don't want to have the Cubs out here trying to trade for somebody like Eugenio Suarez, who basically probably will not probably re-sign with the Chicago Cubs. They probably won't be able to afford him, and you wouldn't possibly need him, but at the same time, you look at what the Chicago Cubs are trying to do. The Chicago Cubs are trying to win a World Series. Jed Hoyer has made it very clear he's trying to win a World Series. So there are some problems and some things going on with the Chicago Cubs that have to be addressed. And one of those is the fact that you got too many guys right now that are going through cold streaks at the same time. You have Michael Busch kind of going through a cold streak. Carson Kelly kind of going through a cold streak. You have Ian Happ going through the coldest of streaks. You got Dansby Swanson swinging out at everything. You want to have as much firepower as possible going into the postseason. And in order to do that, you got to be able to hit home runs. What does Eugenio Suarez do? He hits home runs. Now, again, What's alarming in every single thing that I've seen, from Bruce Levine to Bob Nightingale to Ken Rosenthal, is every single trade that the Chicago Cubs are in talks with right now. Every single team is asking, "Hey, can we get Owen Caissie?" And from what I read and from what I saw in yesterday, the Chicago Cubs are not really looking to give up Owen Caissie in any deal. They're trying to hold on to him. Now, Jackson Wiggins, Kevin Alcantara, guys like that, you might be able to get Mo Bally. You might be able to get Ballesteros in a deal. But the Cubs are trying desperately. Jed Hoyer is trying desperately to hold on to Owen Caissie, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he absolutely should. So you look at this and you have to say to yourself, okay, then what can the Chicago Cubs trade? I do also think Reese McGuire will probably end up getting dealt because Miguel Amaya is very close to coming back. So you're looking at potentially probably just having Carson. If you do end up trading, Reese McGuire before the trade deadline, then you obviously maybe could pick somebody up off of waivers if Miguel still needs another week or two, or you just put Carson Kelly. Is like, hey, bro, you in it for the long haul. When you get back, you'll get a break for a week or so, and maybe we'll put we'll have Amaya catch every day. But for right now, you're looking at probably being able to trade off the main roster. Birdie, Turner, and Vidal Brujan are all absolutely able to be traded. Ben Brown's probably able to be traded. Cubs actively are shopping him. We've heard that. You're also looking at potentially having what's the name? You're also potentially probably looking to have maybe Reese McGuire traded also. Reese McGuire has shown that he can still play at the big league level. And there are people that do need a catcher. One team that I saw is the San Diego Padres. So again, this is one of those things where you look at the Chicago Cubs, they do have tradable assets that's on the main roster too. So don't think that every trade is going to be centered around us sending a team prospects. We are going to end up trading some of the guys from this main roster too. Some of those guys will not be on this team past Thursday of this week. So you want to make sure that you understand that, guys. And the Chicago Cubs are in talks. But the Pirates want for Mitch Keller. The Pirates wanted to talk about Owen Caissie. Chicago Cubs probably going to back off of that. Like I said, and then you look at the Chicago Cubs also engaged with the Washington Nationals, but they want Owen Caissie. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for Mackenzie Gore, and Mackenzie Gore is young too, so that's kind of what you're looking at there. Mackenzie Gore is 29 years old, so that's a young stud that you still have 3 years of controllable assets on. So you look at that contract, and that's a good contract that you want to have. The Chicago Cubs have many options. There's still the Pirates out there. Still the Padres out there trying to get rid of Dylan Cease. And we all know that that Kelly and gosh, I always forget his name now. He also pitches for. There's 2 pitchers from the Diamondbacks that are both available. So again, there are pieces available, there are trades available, and there's probably some things under the radar too that we don't know. So we will have to see. We'll see what happens. But once again, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And of course, guys, you already know I didn't forget. I never will forget. We got to fly that W, baby. That's right. The Chicago Cubs did pick up another victory, a series victory, and a season victory. Chicago White Sox only won one stinking game. And you would have thought they won the World Series the way they was talking. But literally, Chicago White Sox won one stinking game against the Cubs this year. Out of that, the Cubs skunked them 5-1. This year between the Crosstown Classic. Now, years to come, we'll see what happens because the White Sox do have some pieces. They will be better. But the Chicago Cubs did go ahead and take that victory against the White Sox again. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, I appreciate you all. Go Cubs, go. Let's see what they got against the Brewers tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.